It's game over.
From a laid-back firefighter who has insane firepower to an ordinary high schooler revealing that he's the legendary Iceblade Sorcerer, here's when overpowered anime characters got tired of hiding their true strength. Number 10. You don't mess with the reincarnated Demon Lord. The greatest Demon Lord is reborn as a typical nobody. Demon Lord Varvatos is overpowered as hell, but being too strong has made him bored out of his mind. Varvatos decides to do the only sane thing anyone would do in a situation, that is, end his life. Hold on, the story isn't just over yet. See, Varvatos reincarnates later as Ard Meteor, your average ordinary medieval high schooler. However, even as Ard, Varvatos seems to have access to all his spells. Sometime afterward, Ard befriends an elf girl named Irina, and they join the Academy of Magic. There, Irina sees a succubus being bullied, so she steps in to protect her. But doing so leads to the bully challenging Ard to a duel to prove who's superior, and well, I guess you should just see for yourself what happens to him. Ard effortlessly blocks all of Geraldo's attacks, and when he realizes that Geraldo is actually just pretending to cast powerful spells and instead casting low-level ones to fool the other students, Ard becomes mad. Ard reveals his true strength and casts the actual Giga Flare spell, completely annihilating Geraldo until he begs him to stop.
I'm sorry! I admit it! Your magic's stronger! Now stop it! I'm begging you!
Number 9. Maru mops the floor with the Inferno, Fire Force.
Leader, show him some guts. I know you got it in you. Remember, no matter what goes down here, Akatsuki is your town.
The next moment in this list of when anime characters were tired of hiding their true strength features Maru Shinmon. Maru is the captain of Special Fire Force Company 7, though unlike everybody else, he's as laid back and chill as a person can get. However, when a powerful demon Inferno attacks his district, Maru is forced to live up to his name. Maru finally gets serious, and like Harry Potter riding his broomstick, Maru flies off into the sky and mops the floor with the demon Inferno using his bonkers firepower, pun intended of course. This is the first time we see how strong Maru truly is in the anime, and it is a sight to behold. He was able to defeat a high-class Fire Inferno in a matter of minutes, where other soldiers struggled, and that's even more impressive when you realize he's still probably not even using half of his real strength. Number 8. Seiya's done being cautious. Cautious hero. The hero is overpowered but overly cautious.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
The goddess Restart summons Seiya Ryuguin to save the world from the Demon Lord, but there's one small problem. Seiya's unbelievably cautious. When faced with a harmless slime, Seiya devised an entire plan and then destroyed even the area surrounding the slime just in case it might survive. Restart thinks Seiya is simply too scared of fighting and weak, but in reality, Seiya is overpowered as hell. That fact becomes apparent in his battle against the Emperor of Rosegard when he takes off his restraining weights, which are about 1,000,000 pounds heavy. Seiya's agility increases tenfold, and he annihilates Emperor Wolk's Rosegard. This still pales in comparison to the total number of Seiya skits in the entirety of the anime. There's 1,000,000 different times Seiya acts like a complete moron and then unleashes his true power, but from all those, his tussle with Emperor Wolks is arguably his best work.
Time again!
Number 7. Jinwoo stops playing around, solo leveling.
It's another of my emotions gone. I don't even need to get angry to kill filth like you.
Sung Jinwoo is on his way to becoming the world's greatest hunter after a magical program called the System chooses him as its user. His new powers allow him to level up without limit, so Jinwoo quickly becomes one of the strongest dungeon hunters ever. However, he decides that he should pretend to be weak to not draw any attention since his case is so rare that there's no telling what the government might do. But things quickly go south during a dungeon raid with his friends. Inspector Kang, who is accompanying them, turns out to be an assassin, and Jinwoo's friends Juhee and Chiyul aren't strong enough to defeat Kang because he's higher rank. ranked. With the team in a bind, Jinwoo decides to drop the facade and goes total god mode on Kang. Despite appearing as an E-ranked hunter to Kang, Jinwoo can deflect all of his attacks effortlessly. Everyone is left surprised to see Jinwoo's true strength, and Kang is struck by fear once he sees what he's up against. Jinwoo straight up sends Kang to the afterlife, and it's pretty easy to see that when Jinwoo becomes serious, he's a cold-blooded monster.
Pinpoint me exactly.
Number 6, Rei goes Iceblade Sorcerer mode on a bully. The Iceblade Sorcerer shall rule the world. Rei White enrolls in Arnold Academy to lead an ordinary life, but he's hiding a big secret. Rei is actually the Iceblade Sorcerer, one of the 7 grand sorcerers in the entire kingdom, and his powers are second to none. While Rei manages to keep a low profile for many episodes, he and his friends are eventually attacked by an enemy spy who wants to steal their magic. This seems like the perfect time to reveal his true strength, so Rei unseals his Iceblade Sorcerer abilities, casts a mighty spell, and pretty much destroys the spy. Luckily, all of his friends are unconscious, so his secret remains safe, but they eventually do learn of his strength later in the story.
What's wrong, Rei? You scared to fight someone who could actually hurt you?
I can't tell if he's just getting worked up, or if there's something else.
Number 5, enter the lion sin of pride, the 7 deadly sins.
It's very nice to meet you once again.
When the sun's up, he's one of the biggest and most powerful men you'll ever see. But once the sun sets, he transforms into something a little different.
With 2 of the 10 demon commandments pursuing Bon, Elaine, and Jericho, the 3 of them manage to find a random bar in the middle of nowhere and hide inside it. However, the barkeep turns out to be Bon's lost long teammate, Escanor, one of the legendary 7 deadly sins. Yeah, this guy might not look strong, but just wait a minute. When Galan and Melascula arrive at Escanor's bar, they start toying with him and inquiring about Bon and the others. This ends with Galan challenging Escanor to a duel, in which both of them will hit each other one after the other, and when Galan does so, Escanor gets knocked out for the entire night. However, when morning comes and the sun's shining bright, Escanor morphs into his true form, that of a ginger Giga Chad. In his true form, Escanor picks up his battle axe and slices Galant in 2. Galant becomes overcome with fear and tries to run away when Escanor readies his ultimate attack, but that kicks in the duel's rule and he turns to stone. As for Melascula, the master of the sun, Escanor burns her alive.
What's happening? How can he wield this much force? What is this power of yours?
That would be sunshine, my glorious magical power.
Number 4, Oma chooses power over life, Kangen Ashura.
Cut, Rei!
In round 2 of the Kangen Annihilation Martial Arts Tournament, Oma Tokita had to beat a psychotic fighter called Kurei Ryan. The fight was pretty much going one-sided in favor of Ryan, since the Kurei clan could unlock 100% of their body's physical potential. Oma took a severe beating during the fight, but in that moment he decided he'd use his special technique, Advance. Using Advance, Oma overclocks his body by pushing his heart rate to its limit, but in doing so, he also shortens his lifespan drastically. That said, using Advance, Oma knocks Ryan around as if he were a toy. It was like seeing a fantasy god of war beating the pulp out of a punching bag. While Oma's true strength has severe drawbacks on his body, there was so much at stake in the Annihilation Tournament that losing wasn't an option. He decided to risk it, and luckily his win over Ryan made it pay off. Number 3, Mops a ticking time bomb, Mob Psycho 100. Any list of characters who got tired of hiding their true strength would be incomplete without mentioning Mob, the overpowered Esper from Mob Psycho 100. Mob is a seemingly normal teenager living an ordinary life, except for the fact that, well, he has godlike powers. There's basically a meter built inside Mob's head, and when he gets really angry, ecstatic, or courageous, that meter fills up to an infinite level and results in Mob entering a godlike state. But that's not to say Mob Mob likes using it. Mob almost never uses this state consciously. It's only during tough battles or frantic moments that this happens. For instance, when Hanazawa challenges Mob to a duel and bullies him when he doesn't accept, Mob's psychometer goes berserk and he enters his superpowered state. Then Mob beats the life out of Hanazawa and sends him butt naked running back. Literally. Number 2, Akatsuki's the strongest in both worlds, aesthetica of a rogue hero.
Wow, he's so strong.
In a world where men and women constantly are summoned to another world, Akatsuki Osawa finally returns to Earth after beating the Dark Lord. However, he was entrusted to protect the Dark Lord's daughter Miyu, so both of them decide to enroll in the special school for people in their predicament. Things are going well until a plot to assassinate Miyu kicks in. It's then that somebody tampers with the griffin-like enemy the students are set to use for combat practice. With the students' lives in danger, it's all up to the strongest warriors there to rescue them, and that happens to be our boy Akatsuki. And so Akatsuki wastes no time and summons his giant dark sword from his previous adventure and obliterates the griffin in a mere minute, unleashing his true strength and showing exactly why he was renowned as the strongest soldier during his isekai days. Number 1. Violent is the only option for Thorfinn, Vinland Saga Season 2. In Season 1, Thorfinn was a 16-year-old one-man army. He killed at least a dozen men every episode, and his single purpose in life was slaying Askeladd and avenging his father's murder. Thorfinn was basically a killing machine throughout the entire first season. However, Askeladd was killed by someone else, and that leaves Thorfinn in a dark place mentally. In Vinland Saga Season 1, we learn that years have passed, and Thorfinn has given up on fighting. He willingly becomes a slave and tends to the fields of his master, living life entirely as a pacifist who has vowed to never fight again. Years pass like this, and Thorfinn ages, but fate has other plans in store for the Viking. When he faces the warrior Snake in a life-and-death situation, violence seems to be the only option available. Thorfinn forms his fist once more after years, and Snake ends up meeting the true barbarian tucked deep inside Thorfinn. A bittersweet 2-minute battle unfolds hereafter, with Thorfinn dodging a dozen of Snake's attacks and delivering some of his own. The entirety of the fight was an epic display of battle IQ, but it was apparent that Thorfinn was the better fighter. If it wasn't for Thorfinn giving up on fighting all these years, there was no chance Snake would have been able to land a single hit on him. Unfortunately, the battle is cut short because of outside interference, but you can just tell that from everything mentioned in the video so far, Thorfinn fighting Snake is as close as it gets to a character getting tired of hiding his true strength.